ولاية الأنبياء والأوصياء أوسع بكثير، ولكن هناك مقام اختصه الله سبحانه وتعالى لأهل البيت ما شاركهم أحد من الخلق في هذا المقام، وهي الولاية التكوينية المطلقة، يعني لا يوجد مخلوق ليس هو تحت سيطرة أهل البيت عليهم السلام. هذه الله يسلمك.
And inshallah I'll give you a definition in English of what Wilaye tekvinije means. It is important that we have and understand this Wilaye tekvinije. What can we translate Wilaye tekvinije as? Wilaye tekvinije, the most appropriate translation for Wilaye tekvinije would be existential authority. Basically, the authority over existence. Meaning, I tell you that the Ahlul Bayt alayhum as-salam have an authority over the atoms and particles that float around us right now. The Ahlul Bayt, peace be upon them, have an authority upon you. This is not something far-fetched, and you'll see in the Quran, it's filled with Wilaye tekvinije. The Sunnah is filled with Wilaye tekvinije.
And what is Wilayat? Wilayat literally means power or authority or a right given to someone over someone else. But when we look at Islamic theology, especially the Shi'i theology, Wilayat basically has 4 dimensions, 4 different levels, 4 different dimensions of this concept of Wilayat. Number 1, it is the right of law. Number 2, it is the authority in spiritual guidance. Number 3, it is the authority in socio-political leadership. And number 4, it is the authority over the entire universe. But these 2 dimensions of Wilayat are, in a way, first one is universally accepted by all, second is by Shias and Sufis. It's only in the 3rd and the 4th that we have problems with others. If you look at the chart there on the screen, you will see there are 4 dimensions there when it comes to the Wila of law. The Sunnis and the Sufis and the Shias are all on the same page. On the second one, when we talk about the spiritual guidance, this is where you see the Sufis and Shias are together. But when we come to the 3rd and the 4th, where we talk about the Wilayat of Ahlul Bayt as socio-political leadership, and the 4th one as the authority over the entire universe, this is where you see we are alone. Because this is a unique dimension of Shia theology. When it comes to the 3rd one, socio-political leadership of the Ahlul Bayt, we know about it quite a lot. We study about it, we hear about it. This is the issue of imamat and khilafat. But I would like to go to the 4th one, which is not discussed that much, and it is not easy to digest this concept of universal wilayat of the Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt. Salawat padhne ek baar. What do I mean by universal authority? In the Shi'i theology, we have a belief that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted the Prophet of Islam and the Ahlul Bayt the authority which makes it possible for the wali to exercise his power over everything which exists in the universe. When we talk about it, sometimes, I hear the words, oh, this is all Indo-Pakistani ideas. Maybe, remnant of Hindu influence there. Well, I don't want to talk about any Indian scholar. Let me just quote to you two prominent scholars of this century from the Shia world. One is the late Ayatollah Imam Khomeini. When he talks about this concept of the wilayat of the universal type, and this is a quotation I have in my book, let me just read this here. Where he talks about it, that it is a vicegerency pertaining to the whole of creation, by virtue of which all the atoms in the universe humble themselves before the holder of authority. Look at his expression. He says all the atoms in the universe are there, humble, waiting for his command. It is one of the essential beliefs of our Shia school that no one can attain the spiritual status of the Imam, not even the closest of the angels or other prophets before Prophet Muhammad. In fact, according to the traditions that have been handed down to us, this is Imam Khomeini talking, the most noble messenger and the Imams existed before the creation of the world in the form of lights situated beneath the arsh and the divine throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They were superior to other men, even in the sperm from which they grew and in their physical composition. And he says, this is indicated by what Jibreel said in the story of Mi'raj, that a point came where even Jibreel could not go further. And he left Rasulullah to go ahead alone. And that is where he says, and he quotes the hadith, that Jibreel told Rasulullah, were I to draw closer by as much as the breadth of a finger, surely I would burn. So this is one prominent scholar of the Shia world of this century, saying that all the atoms of the universe humble themselves, before the holder of the wilayat and the authority. Going to late Ayatollah Khomeini. This is another scholar of the same status, where he talks about this different kinds of wilayat, and when it comes to the universal wilayat, he says, as for the first type of wilayat, referring to the universal one, obviously there is no doubt in their authority over the entire creation, as is clear from the ahadith. Why? Because they, the Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt, are the link in creation. Through them continues the existence. They are reason for creation of the universe. If it had not been for them, Allah would not have created the people altogether. The people have been created for them. Through them the people exist, and they are the means of the pouring of forth of the divine grace. Salawat padhna ek baar aur. Baar salawat padhna. Look at the words of Ayatollah Khomeini continuing, where he says, actually they have the universal authority just below that of the Creator himself. Don't say we are exaggerating. This is not ghulu. This is Sayyid al-Khomeini, one of the greatest marja of this century, saying that they have the universal authority just below that of the Creator himself. This authority of theirs is like the authority of Almighty Allah on the creation. However, it is weaker compared to the authority of Almighty Allah on the creation. Salawat padhna ek baar.
Well, I don't think so. Doesn't know what he's talking about.